Guinness and
I'm Jake Harrison, and today we're here to talk to the First Minister of Scotland, Mr Alex Salmond.
Yes, I'm Alex Salmond.
Thank you for talking to us today.
Good
thanks
man.
for meeting you. You attended last Ryder Cup over in Chicago and described it as possibly the greatest Ryder Cup yet. Can you tell us about that?
Well, it was extraordinary. I mean, everybody knows the story that the European team came back from what seemed like an impossible deficit. But, you know, on the Saturday night, the second last night, I think a number of other people, just because of the way it had finished, particularly Ian Poulter winning his match on the Saturday night, and you just got the impression that there was something in the air, you know. And then, of course, the European team started so well. But even although it was recognised, you know, by the final day that it was going to be a close match, I think it was still a fundamental shock to the American supporters that they actually lost it, and to the American team, who were really shell-shocked. But I think that sort of comeback makes the Ryder Cup. But you know, when it's going nip and tuck at the very finish, and then they go all down to the last couple of matches. So I think in many senses it was. The one thing I'd say about Medina, the hosts were incredibly gracious right through the week, but gracious in defeat, which is sometimes the most difficult thing of all. So they did a really good job, and it means that Scotland and Gleneagles, or Urtarada, are going to have to do, we know the bar's been set very high for us, and we're going to have to make sure we do even better.
I'm sure we'll achieve.
So, as First Minister of Scotland, tell us why the Ryder Cup coming to Gleneagles is an important event for the country.
Well, it's big in economic terms. I mean, we've been trying to hammer at Scotland, the home of golf, because we know it's important economically, and we now know it's over £100 million it's worth to the Scottish economy. So you know that's a lot of money in there for a lot of jobs. But there's nothing like big events to exemplify that, to make sure that everybody knows it. And when you have these big events, whether it's the Open Championship or the Scottish Open at Castle Stuart that's coming up, or the Ryder Cup at Gleneagles, you want to be in a place where people look at that round the world, because the Ryder Cup, I think, is after the Football World Cup and the Olympics, I think I'm right in saying it's the third most watched event on the planet. So like 600, 700 million people worldwide watch it live. So when they're all watching that, you want to make sure they see something that makes them say, oh my goodness, I've got to go to Gleneagles and play golf. And that's what you want to come across. So it's a huge boost in economic terms, and it is so significant, probably more significant for Scotland than any other country, because as the home of golf, if we can have that emphasis as the future of golf as well, then that makes it all more important.
You're saying that, but St Andrews is widely known as the home of golf. So why not hold the event there? Why hold it at Gleneagles?
Well, I think a number of reasons. You could, of course, hold, and in the past, if you go back far enough, the Ryder Cup has been held in links courses. But I rather like the kind of tradition that says the Open Championship and the Scottish Open, for that matter, are played in links courses. And the Ryder Cup would tend not to be played in the links course. From our point of view in Scotland, like, for example, golf is expanding dramatically in China. And we're really interested in getting lots of Chinese people to come to Scotland to play golf, right?
Yeah.
But if you ask Chinese people, which courses do you know, then they'll tend to say the old course in St Andrews. And it's really important for us, and maybe Carnoustie actually, Carnoustie has a particular connection with the Chinese. So it's really important for us to make sure they're aware of other courses beyond St Andrews, beyond Carnoustie, beyond the open courses, and Gleneagles is such an exceptional, not just exceptional courses at Gleneagles. Gleneagles is just a fantastic setting. You know, it's a majestic setting in which to hold a tournament like the Ryder Cup.
Yeah. What do you think the benefits are to the wider Scottish economy in the Ryder Cup and in golf in particular?
Well, I think I would isolate three. One is the promotional effect, and even in Medina, you know, Scotland had a lot of impact in Medina. If you look at the pictures from Medina, then after the European flag and the American flag, for obvious reasons, the next flag you see most often is the Sultan. Oh, it's all over the place, actually.
Yeah.
And the fact that, you know, Scotland has such a big role in the closing ceremony, and because we had our film about golf in Scotland, you know, that's shown hundreds of millions of people. So it's an immediate publicity effect, which will be much, much greater when it's Gleneagles. Secondly, there's the ongoing effect of establishing underlying the Scottish profile as the home of golf. And thirdly, there's the impact on Scotland itself. And particularly we've been working so hard over the last few years in club golf. You know, the idea of club golf is to get every 9-year-old in Scotland the opportunity to hold a golf club in their hand, to see if they want to take up the game, give them people the opportunity to have a go at it. And you know, it's been, I think I'm right saying, about 240,000 youngsters have had that experience over the last few years. Now out of that 240,000, not everybody's going to be a great champion, but lots and lots of people are going to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
And some of these people, incidentally, will be great champions. So if Scotland is to be the future of golf as well as the history of golf, then we've got to build that base of lots and lots and lots and lots of people taking up the game. And the Ryder Cup provides the inspiration to enable that club golf programme to be first organised and to carry forward.
You're using the term Scotland. Will the knock-on effect carry over to England at all, or do you think it's fairly localised?
I think the Ryder Cup's a boost for golf. I mean, it's difficult for us to imagine now, but just a few years ago, the Ryder Cup was a loss-making tournament. And it sounds ridiculous. It's one of the biggest events on the planet now, and everybody, you know, scrambles to host the Ryder Cup for the next 20, 30 years. But just 20 years ago or so, the Ryder Cup was actually a loss making. Nobody wanted to host it because it cost so much money and there was not all that much interest. It wasn't as big as the Open Championship or something like that. And it's transformed totally. So the impact will be first and foremost in Scotland, because to have the host of the Ryder Cup is a huge thing. It's something that any country in the continent of Europe would give their eye teeth for. Any state in the United States would give their eye teeth for. It's that huge and big. But obviously, as the Ryder Cup gets bigger, the game of golf gets bigger, and that helps golf everywhere, I suppose. Just like, you know, when Wimbledon's on, you know, obviously the biggest effect is in Wimbledon itself, but everybody watching it telling you, you see lots of kids out with tennis rackets immediately after Wimbledon. So there's an effect everywhere, but the biggest effect will be in Scotland.